And right now at 5, a man is said to be stable after he was shot by a Lawrence police officer.
All of this happened around 12:15 this morning near Harrison Hill Elementary School. Now, right now at 5, there are still questions about what led up to this shooting and why police fired at them.
Our Anna Chalker has been in Lawrence and has the latest on how it all started.
Dustin and Scott, police tell us this all started when the suspect failed to stop at a stop sign in this area of East 52nd Street and Kercheval Drive. LPD says 2 officers conducted the traffic stop around 12:15 Friday morning. They say when the male driver grabbed a rifle off of the passenger seat, those officers fired their weapons. The driver then took off. During their investigation, police later found the suspect vehicle with blood in and around it and the rifle about 20 yards away. They say they did not locate the suspect with the vehicle, but later received a report of a walk-in person shot at Community North. Detectives were able to confirm that this was the suspect. At last check, he was stable. This is the department's first officer-involved shooting of the year, and the 2 officers involved in this have been placed on administrative leave, which is standard protocol. In Lawrence, Anna Chalker, 13 News.
Tonight at 5, a Grant County Sheriff's deputy is recovering at home after getting injured in a shooting.
State police tell us this started around 6:45 last night on East County Road 450 North in Marion. Deputies were called about a person threatening to harm others. When they got there, they told everyone to come out who had been inside. They say a 52-year-old man came out armed with a shotgun and fired at deputies who fired back.
That man was then airlifted to the hospital. Right now, we're working to learn his condition. The deputy involved in that shooting was treated at the hospital and then released. We're told he'll be placed on administrative leave, which is standard procedure in police-involved shootings.
We've also learned an 18-year-old arrested in connection with that shooting at Castleton Square Mall earlier this week is due in court on Monday. Police were called to that mall around 8:30 Monday night after somebody heard gunshots. The mall was immediately evacuated. No injuries were initially reported, but the 18-year-old showed up at the hospital about an hour later with an apparent gunshot wound. Police arrested him after he left the hospital. He told officers he was shot by someone he'd been arguing with. Metro Police tell 13 News the 18-year-old is not believed to be the shooter. Detectives are still investigating this case. They're asking anybody with information on the incident to call them. You can call Crime Stoppers and you can remain anonymous. That number is on your screen right there, 317-262-TIPS. Metro Police said they are responding to more calls involving people in a mental health crisis.
In fact, they're telling us the department's mobile crisis assistance teams really has made a big impact this year. MCAT has responded to more than 2,700 calls this year, and that doesn't even include follow-up calls and home visits. Now that team is looking for ways to work more closely with firefighters and EMS.
The 3 agencies are often dispatched to scenes together, but with different roles. New training planned for next year will streamline their work.
Now they're going to be closer with us so that we can get in there to get those resources to the individual quicker, and there's no delay. Everybody knows exactly what everybody's going to do.
Mental health is an issue that impacts people all across our community.
So if you or someone close to you is experiencing a mental health crisis, you can get help by calling 988. We learned today that homelessness rose by 18% across the United States this year.
This is according to a new report from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The dramatic rise is mostly due to a lack of affordable housing, though natural disasters and a surge of migrants also play a role. It's based on the annual point-in-time count, which is done every January. This year's count found 23 of every 10,000 people experienced homelessness to some degree.
Turns out that veterans are the only population group to report a continued decline in homelessness. They saw an 8% decrease. Now, according to this HUD report, more than 6,000 people here in our state are experiencing homelessness. That's an increase of nearly 270 people compared to last year.
And because this annual count is done during the coldest part of the year, the highest numbers tend to be in warmer states like Florida and California. Makes sense.
Well, we've been fortunate to have some mild temperatures for the end of December, but it's been all about the rain today, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the rain, it was pretty heavy at times coming down. I think we're going to get 2 more cases like that where we're going to see some heavy rain, but they're a little bit down the road. In the short term, I think the temperatures are going to go even warmer for tomorrow.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more fog.
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit of that. It's been patchy in places. I think we may see a little bit of fog tonight, and as long as this moisture sticks around, that's what we're expecting. Let's go ahead and show you where we are with the larger picture, because the bulk of the rain, the heaviest rain, has lifted north. There's another shield of rain back to the west, but that may just clip us. In the meantime, it's more of a drizzle or sprinkle here and there. And what Dustin was talking about, with all this moisture in place, it's not going to take much to wring out a little bit of that moisture in the form of some fog as our temperatures start to cool down. We're still into the 50s for almost all locations, but if we get into the 40s, I think a little bit of fog is certainly going to be in our forecast. We'll keep that chance for a little bit of rain in the forecast through the overnight. We may actually see our temperatures continue to rise over the next several hours. Even during the overnight, we're still going to be into the 50s, or at least close to 50. Our future track will call for that, and you'll notice a few light showers here and there. Most of the day tomorrow, though, should be more clouds than anything else. But watch this. Watch as we get into the afternoon. High temperatures will approach, if not top 60 degrees. And we could even get a couple of peaks of sunshine, which means that the second half of your Saturday may be a gorgeous day before more rain returns just in time for Sunday, unfortunately. So rain chances both day, but Sunday is certainly the better rainy day. I'll talk about when the next batch of rain comes in behind that coming up.
All right, Rob, we'll see you in a few minutes. Right now, millions of Americans are trying to get home after the holidays.
But extreme weather from coast to coast is making that a challenge. Marissa Parra has the latest.
Okay, well, if you're covering holiday travel, Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport, the world's busiest airport, is the place you want to be. And we've certainly seen that volume really ramping up this week. Well, TSA says today, Friday, is supposed to be one of the busiest days for airport travel. And so something that we've been keeping an eye on, though, is how weather impacts that. Yesterday, we saw those storms in the southeast really create a traffic jam, if you will, in the skies, because we saw a temporary ground stop in Dallas. We saw flights canceled, delayed out of both Dallas and Houston airports, meaning places like Atlanta saw flights delayed when it comes to the flights that were supposed to go into those cities. So even if you are not in a city that is directly impacted by weather, you may still see flights delayed or somehow impacted by the weather happening where you are not. And that is something that we are keeping a close eye on with weather that might be moving in through the south, the Gulf. That is something we're looking at not just today, but through the weekend, which is also expected to be busy. But we're not just keeping an eye on the skies. The road is how the majority of people travel through the holiday season. AAA says we are going to start seeing that volume picking up. So if you are looking to travel today, you will not be alone. AAA says the best time to travel is before 2 p.m. because the worst time to travel on the roads is going to be from 3 to 7. So you still have time, depending on what time it is where you are. Back to you.
All right, we have been warned. That was Marissa Parra reporting. Things are running pretty smoothly today at the Indianapolis International Airport. We've seen more than 40 delays, but so far no cancellations. So definitely call, take a look at your flight status before you head to the airport.
Other news, the ACLU of Indiana is now requesting a full review in its challenge to Indiana's ban on care for transgender youth. This group released a statement today saying in part that the ban has had devastating consequences for trans youth here in Indiana, their families, and their medical providers. The ACLU's lawsuit argues that our state's law violates the Equal Protection Clause by preventing transgender youth from receiving treatment, saying it also violates the due process rights of parents to direct the care of their minor children. They call gender-affirming care well-studied, necessary, and life-saving care.
A local craft beer brewer that boasted 5 locations just over a year ago is now preparing to serve its last pint on New Year's Eve.
Rich and I went to McCordsville today to talk with the owner about why Scarlet Lane Brewing Company is now going out of business.
For just over a decade, Scarlet Lane Brewing Company has made craft beer with frightening themes in McCordsville. But owner and head brewer Elise Lane says inflation, required renovations at the brewery, and her own health problems have combined to force her out of business.
At its peak, Scarlet Lane Brewing Company had 5 locations across Indianapolis, but this one in McCordsville is the original and the last for just a few more days.
Our smaller locations were getting more and more difficult to keep open. The economy of price is just so different now. What we could have charged $4 for 10 years ago is $7 to $8 now, and we're not able to do that to our customers. We're also not going to change our product to an inferior product either.
Loyal customers are stopping by and stocking up, New Year's Eve is last call for the official beer of horror. In McCordsville, Rich Nye, 13 News.